Hey, what's up, Pokey?
Hey, I just kind of wanted to
Kind of
watch.
wanted to what? What?
I wanted to
You
watch.
don't play on this team.
You're right.
So now
Who
you're
wants to be a
stealing.
coach?
Now you're stealing our shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't send like my own like mini list to Half and Frost last night.
About things they need to
Honestly,
work on.
yeah. Just personal
Just
observation.
just a half a list. Oh my.
Yeah, dude.
Were you not
Just for
watching?
half of it.
Alright.
All right. So looks like Ellie, you're in. So cool.
I'll be in a second. Just
From
gotta.
Alright, I'm in.
all right. Awesome. Just wait on Pokey and then we'll start. So.
Yeah, sorry.
What we're going to talk about specifically with this particular VOD is timing of engagements and how we actually want to roll out with this comp. So, because the rollout was a little bit off, and I will say this, I'm not a fan of the Sombra. Not a fan of the Sombra pick at all, actually.
Really?
Yeah. The
What else would you rather us run with that spot?
Vidowmaker.
Okay.
So you're
Definitely
saying
a Vidowmaker.
that's interesting. Okay.
You'll see why.
Yeah.
I I I had a very similar.
Is it because it's much easier to get easy picks at the beginning of a fight for us to start actually?
There's a few reasons. A few reasons
Okay.
why. So we'll go over all of those. So it'll be interesting. Pokey,
Uh,
get in here.
yeah, I tried. Uh,
If we did
okay, I
Widowmaker,
got it.
we could probably put CEO on Widowmaker
Hmm.
and then put Jax on something else because I don't think he plays Widow.
Does he play Tracer?
I'm not sure.
We can ask.
Both
I
divas
was
can play Tracy.
I was
What?
gonna ask you though, Foot,
What?
about your thoughts. Sorry. Go
On
ahead.
my thoughts,
About Ash versus Widow
I still
in
think
triple
I would go with
DPS.
Widow. Still would
Is that just because of the higher damage potential, or?
damage fall off specifically.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, Pokey. All right, cool. So,
Yeah.
let's watch through this here, and we'll critique it as
Alright
we
guys,
go.
so what's the rollout?
Alright, so depending on what they're running and where they're at.
Alright, so the way that we would normally do a rollout for this particular comp, and just, I'm gonna go over like the ideal situation first, and then we'll go into the actual VOD and we'll see what you guys did, okay? So, ideal
Alright.
rollout for this comp, Tracer, boop, boop. This is Tracer, goes up top, okay? That's where Tracer's going, right? Pharah, Pharah, alright, sorry, my wife's sick, guys. Gonna butt in every few minutes here. I might be making it. Alright, so Pharah's gonna go out this way, Tracer's gonna go right, Widowmaker, gotta put W, okay? And then Hammond, Mega, okay? And when I say Mega, I'm talking about Mega over in the hut, alright? So their comp does not have the capability of stopping the Hammond from actually making it all the way back around, right? The only stun that they have right now is literally just the Brigitte, okay? And unless Brigitte is positioned like right here, there's no way that they're stopping the, right? And they can't put in enough damage at this point, right? So how would we make this call? Like how do you call this rollout? Okay? And I want you guys to kind of listen. This is how I call the rollout every single time I play with Syndicate. Tracer, roll out right, go top, wait for engage. Pharah, go through left as Hammond enters through, or as Hammond goes main. Okay? So basically what it is Hammond's going to create a distraction as he goes through main. to allow Farah the potential to at least get through the right window, or at least if it's from you guys, it would be left window. So Farah goes through left and plays around coast. Right? Widow and Zen play main. Discord targets that we're engaging on. Widow look for picks. Right? So that's essentially how we want to roll this. We don't want Tracer. We don't want Tracer with this particular comp to be backlining the whole time. Okay? What I mean by this is I'm not, as Tracer, I'm not the one who's engaging first. Okay? I'm the one who's cleaning up. That's what Tracer's job is. So we'll go through like everyone's job. Alright? Tracer's job is cleanup. Hammon's job is disruption and rotation. So DR, disruption, rotation. The job of Sombra, at least what you guys had for Sombra, was again going to be cleanup or rotation. So we would put C or R. Zen's job then would be cleanup. And then our Farah's job at this point is both disruption and damage. So, right? That's essentially what Farah's doing, right? So disrupting with her concussive blast, damaging, and softening up essentially. Okay. Mercy's job is more times than not literally just to pocket the Farah, and that's it. Okay. So the reason I like running like a Widowmaker here also, especially against their comp, they don't have a shield, right? Like they can't stop like a Widowmaker at all, you know, and that's the beauty of running a Widowmaker here, because you guys are gonna force them to rotate back to point, and as you force them to rotate back to point, it opens up sightlines for your Widow to put shots in. Okay, that's the idea, and it also opens up Discord targets for your Zenyatta, who would be. So the rotation for Zen here would be this way and up onto deck. That's usually how the rotation will work. There are times when like you guys get enough kills or enough picks at this point where like Zenyatta can just go through main and then help finish up kills on point. Especially if you guys force them back into the mini pack on the right side. Then Zenyatta should take more space. Then Widowmaker can take more space. Like Widow can take this sightline here if it wants, or Widow can take deck. You know? So it's like it's about like progressive sightlines that you guys are creating for your team the entire time. But this also means that we need to time when we're actually engaging, and you guys didn't time when you were engaging, which caused the issue last night. So let's watch through this, and you'll see kind of like what I mean by this when it comes to the importance of timing these.
I actually have to go right now, but yeah.
Fine.
Alright, see ya.
See ya.
F is here.
Oh shit, I just ran there by accident.
They have.
What's up?
Half when you're. I posted the link in team discussion for Q.
Okay, yeah. I'll go right on it.
While we're waiting for half to hop in here, questions from either Pokey or SP?
Really?
Not really.
No.
Half you almost in.
I guess the one question I can ask, just since we're here, what are your thoughts about running the Sombra or running the Sombra where she is, but then just swapping Tracer for Widow?
So unless Sombra has EMP, Sombra's use in this comp is really so. You can, if anything, like you want to position Sombra in a way where she's like always drawing attention and farming her EMP, right?
Mhm.
But the EMP with your guys' comp against goats is not that effective actually. It takes a while to farm, like it would take like a minute and a half to farm. if you just have Tracer in there with Widow, you guys can actually cap this point in like 45 seconds. So like you end up actually maintaining like better ult economy because of that, and limiting their ult economy. Okay, that's like that big thing for me. Like I want to get in there and I just want to kill people. Okay, like I just want to like dismantle the other team. Like that's the main goal, you know. And the
And the
problem
goal
with
is-
Sombra here is that Sombra does not have the same pick potential that Tracer does. She also doesn't have the ability to follow up on, like, let's say a direct hit from a Pharah. Doesn't have the ability to follow up as easily on a slam down from Hammond. Doesn't have the ability to follow up on a body shot from Widow, right?
Okay.
Like the actual setup for Sombra requires way more than what we're actually trying to achieve here, which is trying to pick off the enemy team through sheer damage. This is why Pharah in particular is the most important here. So Pharah, what does Pharah do, right? Pharah calls a direct hit on a target. Tracer is literally waiting. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. Literally waiting in the back right corner for the call from their Pharah or from the Hammond that they're going in to engage. Like, that's literally all they're doing. Okay? And they go in there, they use all of their blinks if they need to, and they get in on that target and they destroy the target that's low. That's it. So, and what's nice about this is you can ensure that target dies by making sure there's a discord on that target. So things just die. It's like playing dive, right? I mean, we are essentially playing dive here. And that's where like the Sombra doesn't really help us, right? Like the Sombra doesn't do much against like a Winston per se, right? Like we don't get rid of like a Winston shield because Winston doesn't have a shield like Reinhardt, right? If we were against Reinhardt, yeah, maybe Sombra wouldn't be that bad, right? Sombra might actually be an ideal pick against a Reinhardt because of the shield, because, you know, in this case, maybe the Widow's having a harder time getting shots. But there's ways you can play around that, and we'll talk about how you can play around that.
So the reason why is because against floats, you don't get enough value on Sombra?
Yeah, at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I think you get peeled too quickly. Ideally here, I mean, the D.Va is going to be spy checking for the Sombra, right? Yeah, you can hack the D.Va, which is like a huge... I mean, that helps out your Pharah if you hack the D.Va, right? But I still think that, in my opinion, it takes too long to build this up. And I don't know. I mean, hear me out. Like, you can play it with the Sombra, but we're gonna look to see exactly where we go wrong here. And I'm gonna ask you during this VOD, where's Sombra? Okay? Where would I be if I was Sombra? How am I supposed to get value against this comp if I'm Sombra? Okay?
Uh-huh.
Oh, alright. Let's go through it. Okay, so Okizi goes through. Bad. Okay? Why is this bad? It's too early. Okay? Way too early going through the choke, actually. So, Melkizi goes through the choke before the rest of the team is even ready to go through the choke. Okay? Like, it's too quick. Like, at this point, we want him to be that diversionary distraction where he goes in through this way, mitigates all the possible damage that could come to him at that point, maybe rolls in back around this way, and then comes to the backside of point. Okay? Because he's forcing a rotation right now. But the problem is, forcing the rotation right now means, like, there's no way we can follow up on this rotation. You know what I mean? Like, I would almost rather the enemy team wait up here, Okizi go through that way, and maybe the other team's thinking, well, what the hell are we supposed to do now? You know? Like, where's the Hammond? You know? Like, if anything, he's also not taking damage then, right? And that's what we need to make sure is he's not taking damage before we're ready to engage. Okay? So he takes damage way too early. So how do we mitigate this? Literally just roll through the right side, go around the back side here, make sure you're full health, grab the mini pack, grab the mega pack, whatever you need, and then just simply roll to point on the back here. Okay? That's it. If we want to force the rotation, we can do that. So how do we want to play with Pharah then? All right? So all of last night, pretty much, Triameter was playing main, and he was playing coast left side, okay? The angle that you get from here is really shit. Like, you have the stairs, right? Like, you have the stairs that you're firing down in through, okay? Why is that bad? Because literally there's Zenyatta just waits in the corner over here and takes no damage, right? We don't want that to happen. We need to make sure we're getting damage in. So where should Triameter be playing? Well, he should go through the window, go around back left, and then play from backside of point. Now, if Triameter's not comfortable playing backside of point because he has shit booster management, that's something he needs to work on for the next match then. Have him go into a custom game, have him work on getting all the way around the back side of the map with their Mercy, and just poking damage in through back here, okay? This is where you get the best angle, and it's impossible for them to pretty much contest you here, okay? Keep that in mind. Like, if D.Va wants to go out and contest you, D.Va has to keep in mind if they are going out to contest you, they're going to eventually have to return back to the platform. And what's really cool about that, if they use all their defense matrix on you while they come out, and they go back to the platform and land here, just boop them off anyway. Concussive blast. So, it's not good for them, right? Like, it doesn't help them at all. What's also nice is if you're putting in damage from back here, where does Zen sit? Zen changes where he sits to here, right? Or maybe he wants to sit here because he's trying to mitigate damage. Well, if he sits there, where's our Widowmaker? Boom. Right? Every fucking time. Widowmaker's there. So where's Zen going to position? Nowhere Zen can position, right? Maybe Zen wants to position here. If Zen positions there, who's there? Tracer. You guys seeing how this works now? Why having the position on Pharah over here is so important? And why where you guys were positioned over here didn't work. It's because of that exact reason. Because Zenyatta was protected by his team entirely because we weren't able to apply pressure. If Pharah's over here, let's say Pharah's here or Pharah's here on the backside of point, either place, still going to be able to pressure Zenyatta in this corner. Widow's going to pressure Zenyatta. If he moves over here, we pressure more. If Zenyatta decides to sit up over here, he's out of the fight. We don't care anymore, right? We just clean up at that point. We change targets to a different target, right? And then the Hammond comes rolling through here. Literally just comes rolling through if they're on the backside of point. Knocks them off point into Pharah, who's already there waiting, okay? So we'll watch to see like how you guys play this, and I want you to again pay attention to how you guys timed your engagements going in, how late, like basically how early you were on some, and how we weren't actually following up on any targets that were direct hit. Also, half when you're doing the VODs, man, whatever button you have, just use
recording?
it. Yeah, when you're recording, just make sure you hit the button to show the health bars above people's head. So we can kind of like see that because we're gonna see that in game, you know. So just try to like just hit those buttons.
Oh yeah.
But
Wait, do I set that button? It's not on by default.
it's not on by default for some reason. I don't know why.
Shit, okay, I'll note that.
So Sio's sitting over here, no monkey bubble. This is big, right? So now we should be able to put in a lot of damage, right? So Melkizi's taking a little bit of damage. This is when Melkizi should go back and get Mini. I think that's where he's back to now. That is. So Melkizi actually does not go to get Mini. But look at how ineffective right now our Pharah is, right? Pharah is literally firing through this little area, and there's nothing he can do, right? So where do we want him? We want him around backside so that he's putting the damage in. And remember I was going to ask you, where's our Sombra?
Yeah.
Right? Nowhere.
Mhm.
Had to teleport out 11% ult charge, right? Why even bother then, right? Play Widow. There's no way they're going to contest you on Widow. You know what I mean? Now we have two heroes that are completely uncontested. I mean, our Zenyatta, like, dude, Rippon's sitting over here, like, dude, living the good life, you know? There's no way they're going to exit point here. So we don't need a slam down right there. That's just a mechanical issue from. But what are we following up on right now as Tracer? Nothing really, right? Because again, our Pharah is having to sit over here, not able to do too much. And again, what is our Sombra doing? Nothing. So are we getting damage in? No. And that's I could literally leave it at right here, and this would be the end of my VOD review. You know what I mean? Where are we positioned correctly? Are we following up on direct hits or able to follow up on direct hits? No, because Sio's been taking chip damage the whole time and had to get the fuck out and get a health pack, right? So he's not in position to follow up on anything. Where's Melkizi? Going back to get a health pack because he wasn't following up on any direct hits from Triameter, right? But Triameter's doing work. We just don't have the ability to get in there and help him with it. What's Zenyatta doing? Well, Zenyatta's poking from main. He's at 36% already. And, you know, what do we do from there? Well, we can't really do much because we're essentially playing every single time we go in there, we're playing like a 2v6, you know? That's not what we want. So now, if I'm not mistaken, Trimeter was actually sitting in the window here putting in damage, right? And it's fine, it's not horrible at all, right? But again, we're not following up on that damage.
Hey, Filmon.
What's up, dude?
So I, when looking at the VOD, I had that thought too, but I just wasn't really able to explain it to myself, like how to do it. I was thinking like I gotta work on comms and stuff, and just have people focus on going in at the same time, almost like a dive of sorts. But I mean, I think your approach is a little different, right? You're saying that you take positions, so you're just there.
Yeah, like you're already there to follow up. You know what I mean? Like the first thing
Yeah.
Seo did when he went through choke is he literally sat here and started poking from like max distance. Tracers do nothing when they poke from max distance. You know?
Mhm.
Like maybe I took down Diva to like right here, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Right? So we've built up some ultimates now. And again, I'm not blaming Jax for this, right? So let's say we wanted to play Sombra. Where could we play if we were Sombra? Window, right? We should 100% be playing window. The other side if we're Sombra right now. Why should we be playing window? Because, well, first off, Darlis is over there, right? So if Darlis is over there, then we can, at least to a certain extent, kind of stay up there and just put in like a ton of damage, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I think right now Jax's translocator is too far away. You know, like you guys have forced them to point. He should be hacking the mega pack over here for Melkizi, and then just basically having translocator like right over there to get healed up. You know, so like if you guys wanted to play Sombra, like you can make it work. You absolutely could make it work, but he needs to be like playing in this area up here, 100%, and he needs to be hacking like Diva. Like Diva needs to be the target who's getting hacked. If it's not Diva, then it should not be Zarya. Zarya is doing nothing for the enemy team right now, so it's either Diva or it's Winston. One of the two. Diva, ideal though, because there's no one else on their team who's really a threat to us at all. I mean, there's Zen's putting work though, you know what I mean, and it's because of how we're trying to engage, right? Like we're not putting any pressure on the Zenyatta who's sitting right here now. So if Zenyatta's sitting there, where do we want to position Asphera? Back around here, right? Boom.
So I guess quickly, so I guess so the positioning part I kind of get, but I guess what would you imagine like communication would be like there?
I mean,
Like with this
if
comp?
I'm Triameter, I'm saying hit on Zen, direct on Zen, direct on Zen, or Zen low. Like Triameter needs to be the one who's like calling out targets here, and he also needs to be the one who's calling out where they're located. Unless like Seo is like here looking, like maybe Seo is up in the window on the backside here, you know, looking out and waiting for like a target to follow up on. Or maybe Seo's like blinked over into this area. I think he can get there if I'm not mistaken. He can blink over to here, and Seo's actually playing on window as tracer, waiting for that target and then literally dropping down on that target and killing that target, you know?
Hmm.
So you have like a bunch of different options here for you guys, and it's really just about try calling a target, Melkizi following up and slamming down on those targets. And the perfect time for Melkizi to slam down on targets is after this Winston bubble gets brought out, right? Because then they can't put down Winston bubble to mitigate the damage. Now that Source is dead, this is actually huge for Melkizi then, right? He can basically go through the entire point and not have to worry about getting booped now, or not worry about getting stunned, you know? So that's actually a huge pick. So what do we do here? Well, we play slow. Just play slow. And when I say playing slow, I'm meaning wait for your like engagement trigger. So what's the engagement trigger? It's a direct hit from Seo, or it's a direct hit for Seo to go in, right? So trial direct hit somebody, Seo's going in. It'll be a slam down from Melkizi, Seo's going in then and finishing up that target, right? Like we've got a ton of engagement triggers here, and it's all based on people getting damage in so that Seo can get in there and finish off those targets. So maybe it's even like a Discord target from Rippin', right? There's multiple times where I'll be playing main with this comp, and the other team will back out this direction, or maybe there'll be a target on point, and I'm the one as Zenyatta who's trying to help focus the target calling, right? So instead of just trying to like shoot at whoever he wants, have him have a specific target that he's going after. Have it be the Zenyatta right off the bat. No one else. Just have him look for the Zenyatta and try to kill the Zenyatta right in the beginning. See what happens. If it's not the Zenyatta, then the Brigitte is a great target, you know? And then, at least for Rippin, I mean, it's unfortunate Rippin dies here, but for Rippin, I want to get in there and I want to put damage in then on that target, you know? Or at least I want to put a Discord on that target to help finish them up. And once that Discord is called, that can be an engagement trigger for CO. To look for that discorded target and to try to kill that discorded target. Okay? So that's ideally what I would do in this instance here. Listen for a Discord target, go in on that target. Listen for a direct hit, go in on that target. Listen for a slam down from Elkizi, go in on a target. You know, there's plenty of engagement triggers, but the last thing we want Sio to be doing here is chipping and poking and then taking damage and having to use his own resources before he's actually ready to engage. Like that would be the issue, the big problem. Okay. Let me see if I can show you guys an example of this actually. Give me just a moment here. I'm gonna bring up a VOD from one of my scrims, okay? Maybe this might be like a little bit more useful to kind of like see it from like a perspective of like a support player, because I have the entire fight in front of me, right? So just a moment. I think if we played Hanamura last night, we did last night.
If I'm up, so how do you record this actually?
Record what?
This session, is there a way?
Yeah, I'm recording it on Streamlabs.
Oh, okay, because there's like that live button. I never know what it does.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that live button just designates that, like, it's a video that's being controlled manually right now.
So
there's also no stop button, which I don't get.
I'm gonna have to bring up a new room
Okay.
here for you guys, and we'll go over kind of like our VOD from our session when I'm playing with Syndicate, and just to kind of give you guys an idea, because in Rippin, I want you to keep in mind from the Zenyatta's perspective, sometimes it can feel like you aren't doing a lot, okay? And that's completely fine, alright? Don't feel like you have to rush it. Because the last thing we want is to like rush these things. So. Alright, I've got the link. Guys, I'm going to post it in your team discussion. Fuck, dude. No ults, no ults. We win this, guys. We win this.
We could have had more fun on attack.
No, that's next defense.
We're gonna
Bastions
sim.
were made sim risk. Quad. We play that shit.
This might stop.
Do it.
Why
You
are
guys
you on
was-
Widow?
Because Pun wants to chase her.
That's fine.
I'd
Watch
rather
for
have Widow.
Hanzo. Watch for Hanzo in the window.
Yep.
Wait, is there
it
audio in
it
this?
there. Yeah.
Just hit the volume button
Yeah.
once, and it'll...
Okay.
So
Oh, shit, okay.
I usually roll out below, like playing. I'll play through like this way. I'm torn on this because we've had discussions with my team about me playing up top here with Widow, which, I mean, in an ideal world, I should be playing with my Widow. So don't mind my shit positioning here in the beginning, but
Yeah,
They have Ash.
They're bunkering top left. Everyone's
Alright,
left
I'm
side.
gonna. Yep. Where's the headshot? I'm gonna wait for you guys.
All right, I'm forcing
Oh,
point
they have
pressure here.
Ash.
They have to come to me.
Hanzo low.
Their Hanzo's low.
Ash dropped.
Hanzo's discorded, right side of choke.
Main.
Right side coming to you right now, Fun. Oh, what the hell?
D.Va
Where are
headshot,
you
D.Va
walking?
headshot point, D.Va headshot point.
I got Hanzo.
So I call discorded target on Hanzo, right? Right side of point, I give a location, and then Ninja follows up with a call coming towards you right now, Punisher. And both our Hammond and our Tracer go in on that target on the right side who's alone. Okay? So now, one of the issues we ran into here was our Pharah decided to go through main without our Mercy. It's taken out. But we still managed to kind of cap this point. So I want to point this out. Like, we end up making the best of a shit situation here.
D.Va one,
What
D.Va one
the
on point.
fuck, Kavad, dude?
I got Diva.
I'm saying it out
Baby
loud.
one, baby one.
I can't hear you over the team. Ash is dead.
Oh, Mercy one.
Alright.
Hey, buddy.
Mercy's discorded.
Got her.
Then one. Then one on top. Stairs. Top stairs. Then top stairs. 1/2.
Oh, sorry. Got her. Got him.
So I didn't do shit, right? We forced a rotation from them, from our Hammond. We end up getting through. GG easy clap at that point. I'm going to bring up a different one, though. But you guys see, like, kind of what we're trying to go for, right? Like, what the aim of it all is. So, give me a second here. I'm going to bring up a different one that's a bit better. We're going to go into point 2 also with this one. Sorry, this is taking me a second to get. But you guys will see that, like, when we go in on targets, it's pretty quick also, right? Like, the follow-up time from call on a target to going is, like, super, super short. I really wish they had an ability to, like, change the video instead of having to do, like, a new group every single time.
It looks like you can, but it requires premium.
Is that what it is?
I'm not taking
I
it.
think so, because in the top right corner of the videos, or the queues that you currently have, it says change replay.
Oh, you're right.
It says premium.
Okay, so let's watch this one. This one was a bit more clinical.
It should be out tomorrow.
Yeah, but not for. Yeah, but not for our
Dude,
match.
if he's out
Unfortunately.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine.
Woof.
Bork.
Alright, let's go, guys.
Oh, I kind of trolled him.
This is actually, I don't think this is against, this is not against a bunker comp, so this is actually a better example than what we were using. So just let me know when you guys are in. I posted a new q.gg link for you.
I know it doesn't show it, but I'm in.
Oh, great. Af, just let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Wait, is this one Chenyu?
Yeah, yeah. Good, good. Alright, here we go.
Yep, Zarya. Yep, Zarya. I don't see the rest of them. I'm waiting for you guys to get here closer. I'm gonna go in.
Alright, you see, he's waiting right now. Like, right? This is the important part. We're not just simply going through, we're scouting a bit first, right? So he's not just going to simply roll to point and draw attention yet, alright? We need to wait a second, see what they have, scout that out just a little bit here, and then once we know what they have and once we're ready to get into position, then we go through, right? So let's watch our Tracer also here.
I'm going in.
One right side.
Right. So Tracer goes in through right side, getting ready for engagements on the back.
Zen bottom right. Yeah.
Going in.
So because they're holding right side here, Ken, who's our Hammond player, decides to take left side, right? So instead of just taking, like, instead of taking it as like a given that I need to roll in through right side, Ken's like, okay, I'm going to adjust my approach to point now. So his approach to point now is going to be around the backside instead. Okay. Also, with this comp here, this is where I would want to play in high ground instead, because there's the potential, at least in this case, that they decide to just bull rush me, you know, and then we're down a player right in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, one. Summer top right. Summer top right.
Sorry, Discord.
Summer's top. She's TP'd in Mega. By the way, ball.
Alright, I'm on fourth. I'm on point pressure right now.
Sorry, Discord.
They're pulling back to me.
Discord's
There's,
on Anna on
Hanzo
back
really
point.
They have Sombra.
Sombra's on Mega.
Yeah.
You can
I
run
killed her
him, not with you.
translocator.
Okay, okay.
I'm not-
Zarya's Discord on point
I'm
half.
healing Ken right now.
Yeah, the mega's hacked. I can't get to it. I'm gonna get this mech.
She's still in there. She's still in there.
Oh, I see. No, she's on me right here. She's one. Got her. I got Sombra.
Zen's Discord
Going
on
back to
point
point
half. Right side of point. He's dead.
Going
Got
in.
him.
Going in.
I'm with you, Kabot. Go.
Hanzo one, Hanzo
Slamming
one point,
slamming
Hanzo one point. They
Hanzo
both
Discord.
Hanzo, I'm on Hanzo. Nice.
Discord's on back right on Reinhardt.
Ryan one.
I'm playing.
Zarya,
I'm on.
Zarya
I'm
one.
on Zarya.
Zarya
Or
Discord.
Ryan. I'm on Ryan. I'm on Ryan.
Nice job, guys. That's it.
Anna one.
Anna. Got her.
Anna. So you'll notice that we take progressive sight lines as they give space, right? So they just keep pushing back and back and back. And the main target calling is coming from me the entire time. You notice that, right? Like I'm calling discords on a target and those targets pretty much die because my tracer, literally Crom, like he just waits. He waits for the discorded target and then he just goes in on the target that I call, you know? So one of the things I could work on is not changing my discords as often as I am. That said, he's going in on the discorded targets. Ken, our Hammond, is going in on discorded targets. Gavat, his play, he was aggressive because there wasn't anyone who was able to contest him. But ideally, we would have wanted him along the backside, right? Ideally, we would have wanted him there. Especially because, like, Ken, he could actually hang out over on, like, the ledge on the left there. And our Mercy could just, like, Guardian Angel over to him and heal. He needs it, right? But I'm continuously moving forward, moving through the choke, and applying pressure the entire time on them, right? And we're just following up on every single target call at that point. So it's not like anything's cluttered, right? We're not like going crazy in our comms, you know? Like it's literally just, okay, this target, this target, this target, right? And that's all it is. Like it's basically a target focus drill, and that's it. Especially against a GOATS comp, it's just a target focus drill, and that's all. So nice. We're going to go into point 2 here and look at how this works with point 2. What else do they add, if anything? Because they're on McCree now. They're off Hanzo.
I don't think they have EMP for sure. They don't have.
We're getting close.
No.
Okay, I think we go for a pulse stick on oh,
Sombra on point here. She's out.
Okay.
I think we go for a pulse stick here on Zen if we can get it.
Okay.
Or McCree. Or McCree.
Diva, by the way.
Okay, Diva. Okay, gotcha. Let's play for Barrage though. Let's play for Barrage still.
Okay, I'm going through main. We're actually, I'm waiting for you guys. Right, going through main now.
They're up top right.
I'm
Discord's on
point,
McCree.
Sombra's left side.
Diva came to me.
Diva's discorded main.
Zen one.
One back on point.
Sights. Diva on point. Diva on main.
Diva out of next.
Someone wait, someone.
Alright, so I want to point something out here that's really important. Your Zenyatta, when he goes main, especially if the enemy team holds top right, which happens more times than not, our main goal every single time, for me at least, as Zen, is to force out defense matrix and to discord the Diva. Because our win condition is Barrage. As long as we can demech Diva, we're okay. Okay? Like, I don't even know if my team recognizes that I do this every time, but I always discord the Diva and focus down the Diva. So Rippin, discord the Diva, focus down the Diva, get the damage in there, keep a Harmony Orb on either your Mercy or on your Pharah if they're getting low, and force them to rotate to point. That's all we're doing here. That's literally the win condition, is forcing them to rotate to point. Like, we go down a man, and it doesn't even matter here. Watch this.
Summer main, coming back. Behind your foot.
I tranced on point, tranced on point.
Trans on point.
Coming back. I'm gonna
Look for Reinhardt. Look for Reinhardt.
Zen really low back right. Back lap him.
Slam him.
Nice slam.
Damage.
Ryan, discord.
Good.
Right side. Watch right side.
McCree.
McCree left. Nice.
Do we have res?
No. We don't need it, I don't think.
Sombra. Got her.
Dude, am I gonna hit a shot?
I mean, it's like a cakewalk, right? Like, you focus down a target. And again, we're not going crazy with the comms. It's after we kill a whole bunch right there, I'm like, okay, focus the Reinhardt, right? Just focus the Reinhardt. We focus the Reinhardt, the mines go in. And we didn't use any ults. I want to point this out. We used 0 ults to take the first point. And it's because we know for a fact with this comp, we don't need ults to take the first point as long as we focus down targets. That's all it takes, okay? So, ideally, you guys don't want to use ults on point 1 unless you absolutely have to. If you guys focus on your target calls, and like, literally, if I'm Tracer, if I say my only goal in life right now in this map is to focus down the target that gets called, you guys will take each and every target out. You will go to point 2 with an ult advantage. You guys will win point 2 by rolling. Okay? I'm not going to VOD review anymore. I think this is probably enough for you guys to go on for right now. Do you have any questions at least about it right now, Half? Just having seen like from your guys' perspective and then seeing like a different angle of how this might work.
Well, so I think a part of me, I always thought Hammond as being like you kind of talk about as like disruption and also to kind of force rotations.
Yeah.
But it looks like you're also using Hammond just more like just unblockable damage and just like rolling in for the fast target kill. So I guess which mindset should I pretty much adopt? I guess.
I mean, if I'm Hammond, it's going to be a little bit of all that, right? Like it really will. So, if there's a direct call on a target from like a Pharah, then if I'm Hammond, I'm going to roll through point, you know, and I'm going to try to knock them to do even more damage. And then if I'm Tracer, I'm going to follow up on that target, right? So I'm right there as Tracer always. Like Tracer is actually the most important part of this comp in some ways because it's there to always follow up and finish a target. And Pharah is, I mean, they're all important, right? But then Pharah is there putting in the damage, and then we have our Widow there, who's always there to basically pick somebody off who gets displaced, right? So when Hammond displaces somebody, then Widow's already there to pick that person off. And I know Sio's a good Widow, so you know, I mean, Sio can definitely get those picks when people get displaced. But yeah, for Hammond, I mean, it just depends on the situation, really. So if they don't have like a stun or something like that, then I'm going to be going in balls to the wall, right? Like I'm going to put the damage in. I'm going to roll through consistently. And I'm just going to roll from Mega Pack to Mega Pack basically on point 1. I'm going to roll from Mega Pack to Mega Pack on point 2 also. So if I'm not mistaken, it's a Mega Pack out on the deck, and there's a Mega Pack in that bottom right room. So you can basically roll from Mega Pack to Mega Pack if you're Hammond, if you need it. So, as an option.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Take you out in a second. Take you out in a second, girl.
Oh, sorry. Well, so okay. So I guess what drills do you have in mind if we wanted to work on this?
I would
it
just
is
work
like
on a simple rollout. That's it.
So just like sorry, like for all the people, you're saying just find positions and try to get there.
Yeah, like just practice the actual rollout. You don't need anyone on the other team or anything like that, right? You just go into a custom game, you have your shot caller call the rollout, and then your team just works on getting through those rollouts like as effectively as possible. And then you might, like as a coach, you might say, okay, the team's set up on the right side of choke. The team's set up on the left side of choke. How do we adjust to this? And just work on that. You know what I mean? Like that's a simple way to put it. Like make yourself an Orisa on the other team, you know? If you want,
Oh, okay.
like, is your team doing anything tonight?
I don't think so, but I actually don't know how many people are available.
I was gonna say we could probably get together 6 scrubs, and you guys could practice this map if you guys can put together a team of 6 tonight.
Well, okay. So in this case, do you think that's something we can do for a quote internal scrim?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We were planning to do one at some point, but maybe we can just do it earlier.
I mean, I could probably get together some of the guys from Academy, and we could put together like a hotshot team for you guys to just kind of like try this on. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I guess my plan before was I guess Ripon was saying how he wanted to do a bunch of scrims and then do like a internal scrim to kind of like fine tune things. But you think I can do the opposite approach? Where we just fine tune things and then do actual scrim?
I mean, I think scrimming is never a bad idea, as long as you guys go in with a plan every single time. You know.
Well, I guess I'm just saying, like, I like the thing that we're talking about now. Like, I'd rather actually practice it, like, rehearse this a little bit more before we actually play in a live scrim,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, just make sure everyone knows where they're supposed to go with the rollout, and then just take it from there. You know, because as long as you guys have the right rollout, the rollout's the most important part for this comp to work. Actually, like as long as everyone's playing where they're supposed to be playing, you guys will be fine. You know. So I would just work on that part first, and then afterwards it's about following up on a target. You know, so maybe you can set up an experiment for your tracer where you have your Zen main, you have your Hammond on your team, and you have your tracer, and you put yourself on the other team, okay, as like something with like a ridiculous amount of health, okay, like give yourself like 1 billion times health, and put a Discord target, slam down, and have the tracer blink in right as you slam down to follow up on the target. You know, just something like that.
Okay, yeah, just like set, yeah, got you. Set like small actions